Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi guys. Alex Pereira will beat the shit out of Ciryl Gane in the co-main event of the White House card. So a lot of people are saying that Ciryl Gane has a really high chance to beat Alex Pereira, and though that itself is not that ridiculous of a claim, I feel like the winner in this fight is like pretty clear because listen. The thing with Ciryl Gane is if the Ciryl Gane that showed up against Tom shows up against Alex will have a problem. Like I completely get that, but the thing is I'll say there's about 60% chance that the Ciryl Gane that appeared against Tom, that won't be the Ciryl Gane who fights in the White House. The thing is, right, it's like Ciryl Gane himself is very unpredictable. Like you can't say when he is actually taking a fight seriously. Like generally, like he's like working hard in the training camp, and when he's just like he just shows up just because the UFC called him. For example, the Ciryl Gane that showed up against Volkov looked absolutely shit. Volkov took him down easily, and his takedown defense looked nowhere near as good as it did against Tom Aspinall, even though Tom's takedowns were a bit sloppy. So and another point is the Ciryl Gane that showed up against John, same case there. So the problem I have with Ciryl Gane at this point is, yeah, I know he's fighting for the White House card, but the thing is, it's he should when he fought for the for the undisputed title, while he was a number one contender against John Jones, he was fighting for undisputed gold, yet he did not train properly, let's just say. Yet he did not take the fight seriously, let's say. And on the other hand, we have Alex Pereira, who's moving up another division. This is a motivated Alex Pereira, I'm telling you guys, because Alex Pereira, he used to say, before the official announcement happened, he used to say that he walked around at 240. So now we know that the Pereira who will fight Ciryl Gane is a Pereira who ain't holding back, who ain't a no mercy Pereira, you can say. Someone who is who has basically reached his full limits. And we always know Alex is a very tall guy, he's a very big guy, very lengthy, very rich, has a very high reach. So I'm also curious to see the heavyweight Pereira, like the denser Pereira, like what most people are saying. So it's definitely gonna be very fun, this fight, for sure. Striker versus striker, absolutely amazing. And another thing is, there's a huge chance that Ciryl Gane will poke Alex Pereira in the eyes, according to most of his recent fights, and most notoriously the recent fight against Tom, where he tried to basically eye poke Tom for the entire fight, let's just say, like how long it lasted at least. So if he even tries that against Alex, Alex is locking in. And judging from his last performance against Magomed, like if Alex does that to Ciryl Gane is cooked. Like genuinely, he is cooked. Like the Alex that showed up against the Magomed in the rematch, right? Like he put on the pace from the beginning. Like he showed up to knock someone out. Like bro, he looked so scary in that fight, right? Like he pressured Magomed, throwing very very tough kicks from the very beginning. So I think it was calf kicks. Anyways, so yeah, that's that's what I'm saying. So if that actually happens, then the situation is very difficult for Ciryl Gane. And even though I get it that Ciryl Gane striking is very good, you can never tell with him. Like you can never confidently say that Ciryl Gane will outstrike Alex Pereira, just like how he outstruck Thomas Aspinall. You cannot say that because as I said, like motivation matters, and Ciryl Gane most of the time, he looks shit in most of his fights, at least. Not all, definitely not in his most recent fight. So the winner of this fight is the undisputed, like the interim champion. And even though a lot of people are calling Alex Pereira triple champ as soon as he finishes Ciryl Gane, like as soon as he wins the interim belt, I don't actually consider that to be true, because like by then he will not be the undisputed king of the heavyweight division. Like he won't be the actual champion, the real champion, let's just say. Thomas Aspinall, he did so much for the heavyweight division. Even though he looked shit against Ciryl Gane, he didn't look shit. It's just he didn't look like he didn't look as good as he does usually, let's just say. Obviously not shit, but Ciryl Gane, come on, he moves like a middleweight, as most people call it. So and that's the thing. And I feel like the only way, let's just say Pereira knocks Alex Pereira. Let's take a look at the both the scenarios. So let's say Alex Pereira beats the shit out of Ciryl Gane, which is my prediction, and knocks him out in the second round. So Pereira versus Thomas Will is confirmed, right? And in my opinion, for such an amazing kickboxer like Alex Pereira, the best weapon Thomas Penal has is his wrestling, because we know how good it is. And even though like, he obviously has to work on his takedowns, but if he can get Pereira to the ground, yeah, like that's Tom's best chance at beating Alex Pereira, because another thing is, you have to understand that Tom is a very big guy. Like, he cuts weight to make 265, so that itself should tell you enough. So, and also he has been trained, he has a lot of submissions. Like, his ground game is at that level, let's just say. So, and on the other hand, if Ciryl Gane wins, then that's a problem in my opinion, for Thomas Mann, especially if he like makes Pereira look shit, which is very hard to do. And even though that's what most MMA fans, including me, are expecting or hoping not to happen, still it might happen. Though in my opinion, there's an 80% chance that Alex Pereira will beat the shit out of Ciryl Gane, and I 100% get why he's a huge favorite going to this fight. Though with Ciryl Gane, you just never know, especially when you put him in the underdog. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this, guys. You guys make sure what you guys think. Inshallah, I'll see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.